Hello. This is Sunday. What is today's date? April 16th. It's Sunday, April 16th. And you know what? The reason why this is Kathleen Wells, the host of the Kathleen Wells Show. And you know why I wanted to go live today? Because this morning I was watching Washington Journal and they were talking about opiate addiction. They had a psychiatrist on. Her name was Sally Sattel, and she was or is a fellow with the American Enterprise Institute. And the way that they were talking about it was like they didn't. I mean, one caller called in and talked about the fact that crack users receive different treatment, but they were talking about opiate addiction, heroin addiction is a medical problem, and the ways in which it should be handled, the ways in which it should be treated. And it was astonishing to me. It is astonishing to me that the president and that the American people don't see that for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, they treated crack users who were black folks as felons, and they received long sentences. In fact, we talk about mass incarceration. We've read Michelle Alexander's book, Mass Incarceration, The New Jim Crow. We know that the increase in mass incarceration is due specifically directly to the dramatic increase in non-violent drug offenders. That is what drove mass incarceration, crack use. So black folks who used crack cocaine, received long sentences. I mean, I'm talking about decades. We're talking about, yes, the drug war started with Nixon. You find that out in the book. Nixon announced the drug war. Reagan started the drug war, but Democrat Bill Clinton put it on steroids. Bill Clinton put the drug war on steroids with the 1994 crime bill. Then, a Democrat.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Ted. I've got Ted on the line. We're both going to discuss this issue. I was just doing my intro, Ted, about how this morning I watched Washington Journal. I watch that. I hope you guys do too, don't you? I was watching Washington Journal, and they had psychiatrist Sally Sattel talking about the opioid epidemic. In fact, let me see. The title of her piece, you guys should bring it up. The title of her piece is "Saving Lives is the First Imperative in the Opiate Epidemic." Saving lives is the first imperative in the opiate epidemic. This is in the Washington Journal. This is her article. She's a psychiatrist. And let's see. Some of the ways unconventional ideas for medical treatment for those addicted to opiates are a harm reduction philosophy, a safe consumption site, drug courts, where if you're diverted into medical treatment, and if you receive the medical treatment, or if you go through the program successfully, your felony conviction will be washed away. And then the other is swift, certain, and fair approach. A swift, certain, and fair approach. Now, let me think. Did black folks receive fairness when they were using crack? Did black folks receive empathy and compassion from society when they were using crack, or did they just get sent to jail? Not only did they get sent to prison, but they tripled, or no, that's not the word I wanted to use. When I think of tripled, I'm thinking about the 3 strikes law. See, a lot of these black folks who were using cracks also received life sentences if they had 2 prior felony convictions. So, you had 2 prior nonviolent drug convictions for crack. Then you get another conviction for stealing a bicycle, you get a life sentence. That's how harsh and hard and difficult the American society was on black folks. How harsh for decades. This started in the 80s. And then to now today, when I was listening to this program, they act like, oh, no big, well, we made a mistake, or yeah, that was right. The woman said, oh, yes, there's a distinction. It's racialized. No, it's not racialized. It's racism. It's racism. It's structural, and it's in the system of America. It is in the fabric of America. Racism. Because you treat one group of people one way, and you treat another group of people the same way. Am I right, Ted?
You're absolutely correct about that, Kathleen. And I'm glad to see that you are behaving yourself as a watch person. In the night, you're on the watchtower, and you see something moving out there that's detrimental, and you're sounding the alarm. So, yeah, you're doing a great job of bringing this up. Absolutely.
Well, why am I the only one? Why aren't black politicians? Why aren't black activists? There's a void. Where are they? They know that this is going on. They know that this is going on. They've been talking about it for years now. And you don't hear from black politicians. You don't hear from black activists. They should be outraged about this distinction. Black families were devastated. Black families were destroyed. This is horrific. And you don't hear anything from black folks.
Kathleen, we're hearing from you, though.
But there should be more. There should be many more voices talking about this. There should be hundreds. Do you realize how many black families were destroyed by the crack epidemic?
No, but I'm sure it's bad.
Yeah, you read Michelle Alexander's book. Hundreds of thousands of blacks were sent to prison for crack cocaine. Now,
part of that problem, though, you ask where is the black leadership and responsible people on this issue. Part of it, though, as I understand the crack cocaine matter, I was in a meeting one time here in South Central, and a state assemblyman, a white guy who represented the area apparently, we brought this subject up to, there's about maybe 15 black folks in the room, and we brought the subject up to him. It was in that bank building over there on Crenshaw and Stockton, I think it is.
Yeah.
And so we brought up the issue of 3 strikes and the crack cocaine. He said, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I have to follow my constituents. He said, on my desk was a stack of paper from the black community so high saying, crack down on these crack users because we're tired of them in our community destroying our children, our family lifestyle, get them out of our hood, give them strong sentences, long ones, because they have no place to go once they're out. He said on the other side of the desk, I had maybe 2 or 3 people protesting 3 strikes. What am I supposed to do? So what I'm saying to you folks is that this is an issue not of white people's racism towards black people so much, though that element is there, particularly systematic racism comes directly from the Democratic Party, but we are more important than what they have done to us. We are more important to that. We have to be honest with ourselves and find out where we are weak and where we need to improve. And I think what you're doing, Kathleen, is absolutely the beginning of something that we as black people are going to have to start doing. We got to find out why are we so weak. Why did we want our young men taken out of the community and given harsh sentences? Why did we fight instead of saying treat our black boys the way you treat the white boys in Beverly Hills? Why didn't we do that? Why didn't we do that? Because at least the white boys in Beverly Hills weren't running around tearing shit up, as they say, whereas in our neighborhood, look at the devastation. But that was all by design, though, you see. We don't make crack cocaine. They made it. We don't grow coke. They brought it to us.
Well, as I said, I read Michelle Alexander's book, and I recommend, I'm sure everyone knows that book, Mass Incarceration, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Everyone knows that book. And one of the things I interviewed her for the Huffington Post. In fact, you can Google Michelle Alexander, Catherine Wells, and see that it's a 3-part interview on Huffington Post. But one of the things I read is that she did indicate, and we can find out, this is easy to discern, we can find out that black politicians, some, not all, they did want other things other than long prison sentences. They wanted jobs back in the community. They wanted, what they're doing now with heroin use, with opiate use. They wanted alternatives. On the one hand, you have drug courts, and then but in addition to that, you have other things. You have jobs coming back. You have community, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? You have building up this. You have putting in money. You have schools. You have education. Blah, blah, blah. All that good stuff. Presumably, they did. The politicians, black, some, not all. Some of the black politicians did want that stuff. So we can't say that they were all They were all on board with it. We can't say.
No,
that.
I'm not. You're absolutely right. And therefore, it's still is on us collectively. The fact that we had 2 or 3 politicians that stood up, where was the rest of them? You see, is the issue. Back to the neighborhood. It was the homeowners, the property owners in the black community that lobbied for this thing to happen because they were directly affected by it more than white people were. And that's why the white liberals got all upset, saying, oh, this is a horrible, horrible thing, when really it was the white liberals who created the environment of the urban centers, the inner cities, under Democrat rule that caused this desire, this hunger. You got to remember something else again. It was the liberals, the Democrats, rather, are the ones who put that 250-year chattel slavery on us and Jim Crow for 100 years. They deliberately destroyed us for generations to come, recognizing our weakness. Bill Clinton, those guys, in the 90s, and in the 80s and 90s, sent all that crack cocaine along with weaponry into our community, knowing that we have an issue with each other, and they knew that we would commit self-genocide.
Yeah.
Or what they call.
Yeah, are you still there, Ted?
Yes, I'm here. Someone's trying to call me, but they can wait.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. So what we're saying is this. You're right. There has been this systematic direct assault on black America forever. Since, yes, we've had 25 decades of slavery. After that, we had a brief period of Reconstruction. After that, there was 10 decades of Jim Crow. Then after that, there was a brief period of civil rights. Hey, civil rights only lasted what? Well, it didn't last anything because as soon as they put in the Civil Rights Act, right on that, Civil Rights Act was what? Open the borders, open immigration to non-European countries. So it was a double whammy. It's like on the one hand, we're giving you your civil rights, but on the other hand, we're opening immigration to non-European countries. So, hey, black folks have never gotten a break as far as I'm concerned. This has been a systematic assault from America through policies from coming out of Washington, D.C., which are sort of pushed and massaged by the mainstream media, and we all know who runs the mainstream media. So there are policies coming out of Washington, D.C., which are massaged and uplifted by the mainstream media, print and TV, newspapers and television, that have been assaulting, that have been devastating black America from day one. There's no doubt about it. As far as I'm concerned, you can't deny it.
I agree. You're absolutely correct about that. It's just a matter now that we have identified the enemy without, we have got to now identify the enemy within, and that's us. We came to this country, we were brought to this country not as a whole healthy people. We were brought to this country wounded people, a wound that we had inflicted upon ourselves on the continent. Until we come to grips with that, no matter what we identify as that which is attacking us, we're not going to be able to stop it. We cannot stop it. We cannot stop it. And they know that. They know that we are in denial. They know a person in denial is not strong. And they play on that. That's why the Democrats always want to give us stuff, always want to bring up the issue of racism when they run against Republicans. Racism, systematic racism. They do that all the freaking time because they know that we are a wounded people and we're going to go for the low-hanging fruit. Yeah, racism. And we get stuck there and say, wait a minute, hold on. Racism would not exist if we had not wounded ourselves first.
Yeah,
we got to stop it at.
Right. I think there's something to that. I definitely think that that's the way we need to go now because we've tried talking about racism, structural racism in America forever. We've discussed
Yes.
it forever. Enough already. Let's shift gear. And it doesn't work. It has, hey, we're worse off now than we were before. So it has not worked. So we've got to rethink, shift gears, and focus elsewhere. Instead of focusing on white folks, let's focus on us and get ourselves exactly. And we have an example of that because during Jim Crow, when there was segregation, yes, there was racism, of course, naturally. That's why there was Jim Crow. However, you had black folks, black people who were self-contained and self-focused, self-fulfilled, self-focused, and we had black communities. We were flourishing. We had the same businesses that whites had. It wasn't until integration that we lost everything. Okay?
And that was design. That was by design. They knew that. The Democrats finally got smart. Stop resisting integration. Let these niggas depart. They're going to run from one another. They can't stand each other. We are giving them a target so they may unite. Remove ourselves from the picture. Get Jim Crow out the picture and watch these niggas act just like their ancestors did. Before we
don't use the N-word. I hate the N-word. I know you guys love it. But the thing of it is that I want black people to start. I want black politicians. I want to hold them responsible. I want to hold them accountable for not discussing how nonviolent drug offenses, how crack cocaine was injected into our communities, which were flourishing during Jim Crow, how crack cocaine was injected into our communities in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, how it devastated black families, and how now we're dealing with illegal immigration, which is devastating again, black families. I need black folks, black politicians to talk about this stuff, black talking heads, black activists. I need them to talk about it, and they're not talking about it, and therefore they are negligent, they are reckless, they are guilty as charged. Guilty as charged for being derelict in their duty.
Kathleen, I agree, but the ones that we really should be going after is not the Democrats, as bad as they are. They know they're villains. They know they're the devil. We need to go after Republicans, those who call themselves. We need to tell Republican people, y'all either start acting like Republicans are supposed to act, or stop using that name. Stop using that term, because you're creating confusion. You are not Republicans. Stop using that term. If you're a Republican, you should have been the ones to stand up to the Democrats. You should have been the one to stop the whole crack epidemic. You should, because that was your job as Republican. But instead, you got all conservatism and these other things that had nothing to do with black people's existence in this country, according to your own laws as Republicans. That's who we need to go after. Republicans. Now, when you have a baseball team, let's say you're owner of a baseball, football team, or cricket team, right? And your team is messing up and being beaten by the other team all the time. You don't focus on the other team and how strong they are, what they did to you, and all the power they got. You focus on your team. Either you guys get your act together, or I'm going to find a new team. And we got to tell Republicans that as black people, we got to tell Republicans, you either get back on your job, or you stop using that name, or we're going to sue you for it. And put them, and we expose it to the liberal white media who hates these cats anyway, and they will eat that up. If a group of black folks start challenging Republicans to be Republicans.
Right.
Stop perpetrating.
Right. I hear what you're saying. Clarify that for the listeners a little bit more so they can understand what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Say that again, Kathleen. I'm sorry.
I said I understand what you're saying, but clarify that for the listeners a little bit so they understand what you're saying. Talk to them. Talk to the listeners about the responsibilities of the Republican Party to black folks, to black America.
Folks, I attest and stand by it completely that the only purpose of the Republican Party, the number one purpose of the Republican Party, was to end chattel slavery and to secure their citizenship and right to vote as long as this nation shall live. In fact, it's understood that if we black folks become inconsequential politically in this country. That is, if an outside number of people who come in here illegally and they get the right to vote through our 14th Amendment, etc., then the day that those people outnumber our vote nationally, that will be the technical end of the United States. Republicans have no other purpose but to defend the Union through us. Abraham Lincoln understood that, and the founding Republican leaders in 1854 and 1856 clearly understood that. I would ask that you go Google. It's free information. Google up the birth or the beginning of the Republican Party. It started in 1854 and 1856 in a little town in Wisconsin, in a schoolhouse, a one-room schoolhouse in Wisconsin. That was the beginning of the party. And as long as the party had that issue as number one, they won 6 consecutive presidential elections, unprecedented, because the American people understood the moral cause of this nation was to defend the people for whom 740,000 of their young, innocent white boys gave their lives over. That's the issue. Every other position in the cabinet of the president is to focus around that issue. In fact, one of the things I'm calling on this country to do, particularly the president, the president of the United States is actually our personal guardian, not theirs, ours. White people's freedom, white people's liberty in this country will only survive if we survive. And the president is ordered to protect us. Now, if I ever get the chance, I'm going to ask the president, I'm going to demand of the president that he, by executive order, sends a memo or executive order to all government departments stating that no policy shall be discussed, no program should be put into action until it's considered what will be the effect upon black people according to the law. Will this advance black people or will it hold them back? Whether it's a domestic issue or a foreign issue, that's got to be the number one concern. That's got to be the law of the land.
Well, I mean, how are you going to get that? Listen, time is ticking. Time is of the essence. How are you going to get that to President Trump?
I'm doing it now. Every Monday night, we're teaching about this on Monday nights. We're showing you what your power is in the 14th Amendment, because that's what the illegal aliens and the immigrants and the gays and everybody is using our birth certificate to do business, illegitimate business with the United States. Why? Because we don't know that that's ours. Most of us never heard of the 14th Amendment, never heard of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which describes us in the Constitution and the power that we have over the President of the United States if we would but use it.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, how are you going to get this information to President Trump? What are you going to do?
By building a movement. I cannot do it by myself. Building a movement. The more people in this country, of us that is, that understands this law, we'll have a better opportunity of him getting it and hearing it. I'm only one person.
Yeah,
he knows where I am. He knows who I am. I've sent him information. He knows. But he ain't going to deal with me. I'm one lone person. I'm dangerous to him. They put me on front stage with them, I may be a monster. We need a body politic representing the rest of us. Yeah. And that's why I say on Monday night, if we can get individuals from all the cities across this country, let's say we can get 30 cities across the country that's buying into this, then we can send a letter to the president. Then we can make contact. Then we can hold a news conference. Then we can do an act of civil disobedience to get us in the news on this issue. I'll go to the federal building and get arrested. If we had enough people who know the issue to show him that we are organized and we do know what we're talking about, he will have to obey us.
Well, you know,
not fulfill our obey us.
Well, to me, time is of the essence, and I don't know what to say about building this movement.
The way you go on a long journey is you take the first step. You're just hearing this information. I'm just beginning to share this information. I wish we could snap our finger and be in the White House and talk with them. It ain't going to happen. We have got to build a movement. We got to start now. That's how we get there. Start walking that direction. We just can't keep saying how we're going to do it. This is how we do it. This is how I'm doing it. I'm building a movement. I don't know what other people are doing, but I'm building a movement.
Okay, so I want to say, I hear what you're saying. I just wanted to go over a few things that Chris Christie says about opiate use. But I don't know, is it worth it? Because basically we all understand that we all...
what's up?
Huh?
What's up? We all know what's up. They know what's up.
Yeah, we don't have to go over the details, folks, because I don't need to go over the details. I was going to go over what Chris Christie said about how heroin use, opiate use is a disease, not a choice. But I don't need to go over those details because you guys know what's going on, right? It's undeniable. It's obvious. So there's no
Kathleen,
What?
There was a statement in the slave days, and the statement was, nobody cares. Meaning white people. No white people care about what's going on in the slave quarters. Okay, there was so much abuse and destruction there, right? When we got out of slavery and was in the ghettos, nobody cared about drugs and alcohol abuse and so forth in the slave quarters. We get down to the 1960s, the Vietnam War jumps off. White kids getting on heroin and carrying on, the senators' daughters and judges' sons and carrying on. All of a sudden, there's a war on drugs. All of a sudden, there's a care, but nobody cared what was going on with us. And so that's the way this country has always been, is they're going to take care of their white kids, their white people, before they're going to criminalize ours. But that's not their fault. That's our leadership's fault for letting them do this. Now, a person like you, smart as you are, you're on the right track, because what this is going to do is going to cause those of us who are aware to come together, and we're going to start challenging these things. Too bad you couldn't have got on the phone and said, I represent a body politic of Americans called the Black United, blah, 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 and I detest what you hear.
Right.
Why didn't y'all
I hear what you're saying.
This for our men and women? Then if you're going to do this, then let our black men and women go and give them rehabilitation.
Right. I hear what you're saying. In other words, because I call C-SPAN all the time. I call Washington Journal all the time. I mean, you can only call every 30 days, and I call like every 30 days. Because I got stuff I want to say, because I can't believe what I hear coming out of the black talking heads and politicians that are on C-SPAN. I cannot believe how Maxine Waters is pushing illegal immigration. I cannot believe how black politicians, all of them, Democrats, and black talking heads like Angela Rye and Michael Eric Dyson, and who else? Charles
Don Lemon and all of them characters.
Yeah, these people are crazy. Hello? And whenever...
Kathleen, but what about the black conservatives? They ain't saying nothing either. They're worse than the liberals as far as I'm concerned. They're the ones who's supposed to be on for this.
Okay, so now we will focus on black conservatives need to speak up and stand out and pipe up.
Black conservative Republicans in particular.
Black conservative Republicans need to speak out, need to have voice, need to tell the story of what is actually going down, as opposed to being docile or silent or accommodating. I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is, it's not working.
It's working for them, though. See, because they get their books sold by talking about conservatism and how bad off the black people are. They get their tapes bought. They get to speak at Tea Party gatherings and conservative gatherings as a strong conservative Republican. They love that stuff. They live very well, okay? They live very well. They live very well. Larry Elder, all those guys. Larry Elder's one of them. He's a conservative. He's a libertarian, but he's a conservative libertarian, and he has made his living off of conservatism and bashing the black neighborhood.
Oh, so what we're coming to is that black Republicans, and on the other show you made a distinction between conservatives and black Republicans. You say conservatives are not necessarily Republicans, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't get it twisted, y'all. When you hear these folks call themselves Republican and they say that they're conservative, good conservative Republican, that's a lie. Conservatism and Republicanism are two complete different items. They're almost antithesis to one another.
Okay. But what you're saying now is that black Republicans and black Democrats are equally guilty of selling out black America. Neither one of them...
they're not. No, they're not equal. The black Republicans are more guilty than the black liberals. The black conservatives, Republicans rather, are more guilty about this than the black Democrats.
Why are they more guilty? They're not as many.
Well, they don't have to have it. They got bunches of them. You hey folks, go to Project 21. Google Project 21. You will see a gang of black Republicans.
No, I went. There's only like 20. Okay.
Well, okay. Maybe that's the latest, but there's a bunch more than that. I'm telling you. Well, I'll show you. And the point I'm making is these guys claim to know better. They claim to have the truth. They claim to have God, Christianity. You know, with God, all things are possible. Where they at? Where they at?
No, I mean,
and the Democrats claim God. They don't claim the moral values. They love gay. They love this. They love that. They love everything. Open borders. They admit it. But we're the ones who say, oh, well, they're the ones who say, we believe in God and Christianity and the Bible says and conservatism and we're going to, come on. They're the ones, they're the watchmen on the wall. If the watchman falls asleep and there's an invasion, the king cuts the watchman's head off, not the invader, the watchman's head. The watchman. And these black conservatives, they just are a waste of time.
Okay, but let's call some of them out. I don't know their names because I voted Democrat.
Star Parker, right there from the projects in Los Angeles. Star Parker grew up in the projects, and she uses that as her moniker to get famous. She talks about how many abortions she's had, that she used abortion as birth control, the drugs she was on, the welfare, the system. She talks about all that stuff, and white folks love to hear that, and how she found God. Found conservatism, and now she's in demand to speak. All these conservative people.
Is she the
one? Parker.
Is she the one that was on CNN? She's anti-Trump.
I don't know if she's anti. No, I doubt that's her. No, I don't think that's her because she's Republican. She's pro-Republican.
Okay. Anyway, no, I was thinking about a conservative black woman who was on CNN, and she was anti-Trump. She was kind of heavy-set a little bit with maybe blondish hair.
Oh no. No, sister's pretty fine looking. She's thin. She looks good. But then let's bring out a male now. Let's bring out Herman Cain, the presidential candidate. Herman Cain. He's not worth it either. He don't care. Herman Cain loves to come on television and talk about how smart and conservative he is. He loves to be a pontificator and a commentator. The brother don't know nothing. He don't care. Let's name another one. Mia Love. The congresswoman down there in Utah. No way. She don't care about us. These people don't know, but they call themselves Republicans. Look, guys, if you want, I can send you all if you want. And Kathy, I'll send it to you and you can post it. I will send you something I wrote years ago called the Republican Survey. Are you or are you not a Republican? And I give a list of questionnaires. And if you sign correctly, then yeah, you're a Republican. If you sign the other way, no, you're not a Republican, so drop the name. In fact, I have plans to sue the RNC to get them to drop that name. I won't win, okay? But what we will do is we will embarrass them. We will embarrass them. And Mr. Trump needs to stop calling himself Abraham Lincoln unless he's going to do what Abraham Lincoln did.
No, I think he's calling himself Andrew Jackson now.
And that's the worst cat he can call himself. Jackson was a murderer. He was a racist.
And he founded the Democratic Party. Trump loves Andrew Jackson.
He founded the jackasses. He certainly did.
Yeah. That
evil racist, no good for nothing. And that's why I say to listeners, listen, let me tell you again. Go and Google up Republican Party. It's beginning in 1854-56. Look at what the Republican Party did. They, on their own, chose, in the name of saving the Union, take on us black people as their number one cause. They won 6 consecutive presidential elections on us. They need to go back to that. And we need to tell these black Republicans and these white Republicans, either be a Republican or leave it alone.
Okay, well, you know, I think we've got to get a platform. We've got to get this going because I feel time is of the essence. I feel that, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong because, I think the pressing issue right now is illegal immigration. Is immigration legal or not? Because it impacts the labor force. This is something that I've learned from Frank Morris. Immigration is not exempt from the laws of supply and demand. So what does that mean? What that means is immigration, legal or not, impacts the labor force. So if something is impacting the labor force, that is impacting black folks having jobs. In fact, I've mentioned several times, if you Google the Los Angeles Times article, and you can read how black folks in Los Angeles are suffering a job crisis. So, I was saying that to say this, that maybe time is not of the essence, because Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General Sessions, came out last week talking about how they are going to institute stiffer, severe penalties. He had a list of things that they're going to do now to effectuate illegal immigration. So, that takes time for them to ramp up, to get enough officers and to get...
It's just, Kathleen, but Jeff Sessions is a racist. He's from Alabama. He's a racist.
Well, you're being facetious. You're being facetious.
Yes, I'm being facetious. Yes, but see, that's their argument. He's white as white can be. He is from Alabama, and he does have that Southern accent. So what they're doing is they're trying to call him a Klanner, a KKK guy, a racist, because their skins are brown. And see, and you white people are treating us the way you treat the blacks. And so they're trying to take him down. But Jeff Sessions ain't no racist, man. Jeff Sessions is the only one to put Ku Klux Klan wizards in Alabama in jail and execute another one about harassing black people. And they know Jeff Sessions means business. If he's going to kill his own behind black people, what do you think he's going to do to these people behind black people? Jeff Sessions told me personally when he was a senator, and Terrence and James, we used to go there and lobbying with them. Jeff Sessions would say, he would be all depressed. He said, what's wrong with y'all's people? He says, these folks are taking everything y'all got. He says, that's all y'all got is your civil rights, and they're taking that from y'all. How come y'all leaders don't stand up?
Is that what he said? Did he say that to you?
He said to me, Terrence, James. Yeah, he said right to us, man.
Did you hear
What's
that?
What's wrong with y'all?
Did you hear that?
Y'all
folks?
jumped all over. He said, y'all jump all over us about civil rights, but you won't say nothing to these folks.
Did you hear that, folks? Jeff Sessions, Attorney General Sessions, asked Ted Hayes, why don't we stand up against the folks who are taking away our civil rights? Have you ever heard a Democrat? Would a racist say that? Would a racist man say that? Ask yourself. Do the Democrats say that? No. Because let me tell you something. I was listening to a panel the other day. Every time you have these black intellectuals, and that's another thing I want to say. Black intellectuals since the 1800s were against immigration. Their position was, we are not for immigration, legal or not, until every black man is employed. And in fact, this is a beautiful article that was written by Frank Morris. It's Cast Your Burden Where You Lay. I think I'm getting it right. Cast Your Burden Where You Lay. I may have it wrong, but anyway, in that article, Frank Morris has written it. Google Frank Morris. Cast your bucket. That's it. Cast your bucket where you lay. Cast your bucket where you lay. Google that by Frank Morris. In that article, he has the actual words from Marcus Garvey, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass. Who else? W.B. Du Bois. He has the words on immigration. Every black person should read this article. Cast Your Bucket Where You Lay by Frank Morris. Every black person should read this article. These are the actual words from Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey, W.B. Du Bois. Who am I missing? Barbara Jordan? I don't know. And also all the black publications during that time were against immigration until every black man is employed. Why? Because immigration impacts the labor force. I don't know where black talking heads, Democrats, liberals, what are they thinking? They're weird as I don't know what. They're not thinking straight. They need to be called out. But also black Republicans. This is what we're hearing from Ted. Black Republicans need to be called to the table because they are not articulating the position firmly, accurately, definitively, passionately. They are not doing it. They're being derelict in their duty. They're weak on the job. They need to be more explicit about what the position is. And the position is what, Ted? Tell them. Tell the listeners.
The position of the Republican, black or white, is to put the care of the descendants of the chattel slaves upon whose ancestors' backs this nation of immigrants is built. We are supposed to be their number one priority. Everything else is a far second. And Kathleen, I think, I'm just thinking out loud with you right now and everybody else. Listeners will want to grab this thing and help us put it together. We need to begin to organize a day nationwide where we black folks come out with a news conference and some demonstrations calling upon Republicans to either do what Republicans are supposed to do or please stop using that name. Folks, Republican is our house, black folks' house. That house was built for us. That's our house. We have the key to the door. They don't. They were the laborers who built the house. We have the key to the door. And we want to demand they either do what they're supposed to do or get out of our house. We will embarrass them. And that's when the media will pick it up.
Yeah.
We just have to embarrass them. Don't go after Democrats. Do not go after Democrats. Leave them freaking alone. Go after the Republicans, or those who call themselves so.
Okay, so we're going to have to stage something like this, right? We're going to have
Yes, ma'am. We got to organize, stage it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's.
We should set a date. Set a date in which we want to, particularly around some kind of a special holiday. Maybe August the 28th is the time to do it, or maybe Labor Day, September Labor Day.
Yeah, this is okay. I'm on board. I'm game. We have to organize something that directly speaks to black Republicans, or just is it black Republicans or Republicans in general?
Oh, black and white. Say black and white Republicans, both of them.
We are speaking to you about the necessity to understand what it means to be a Republican.
Yep, and I understand it, but start acting like it. It's one thing to understand, another thing to do it. You better do it. You got to do it. Either that. Leave it alone, please. I had a dude in South Central want to kill me because I'm Republican. He doesn't know that I'm his champion. I'm a real Republican. I'm not in a party, that thing they call the party. I'm not in that. I got out of it because when I got close to the leadership and the functioning of the largest Republican party in the United States, i.e. L.A. County Republican Party, I left that mug. When I saw that they weren't Republicans, I got out of there. I'll hang around with them.
Oh, so the largest black Republican Party is in Los Angeles? Is in California?
The largest Republican Party in the United States is L.A. County Republican Party. You know that, did you?
No, wait. For blacks or for just Republicans in general?
Republicans in general. The Republican Party of L.A. County is the largest Republican Party in the country.
Oh, I'm surprised to hear that because California leans left. They're Democrat. They're liberal. California's.
Oh, we used to have it. The Republicans used to run California, but they gave it up because they're stupid. As Trump said, they're stupid. They're stupid people. Stubborn people. Stubborn. They refuse to be what their legacy has called them to be. They refuse to embrace the cause of Abraham Lincoln, the cause that Lincoln gave his life over. And the primary cause was Lincoln wanted to give us the power to vote, to govern in this country. And that's when Bush decided to kill the man. And these Republicans sat up here all these years and allowed our 14th Amendment to be rifled away from us. And they take over the 15th Amendment, our voting power, and that's why our vote is ineffective. That's why if we don't stop this thing in the next 3 to 10 years, it's going to be over because the Hispanic, Latino, illicit, illegal immigration population will outnumber us.
Well,
Kathleen,
what?
I'm gonna send you something I started this week circulating underground in the community. It's a tape called The Takeover of America. My friend Barbara Cole, she's passed on now. She has these people, all their quotes on how they were going to take over L.A. and America. They tell you what they're going to do, and I'm spreading it through the community. And you should. And yesterday, somebody got a hold of one, and they was playing it on their radio talk show host, and calls were off the hook. Black folks saying, "What? Yeah, baby."
Yeah,
and this stuff, I was born.
Yeah, you gotta get that to me because I'll read it on this show too. It's my it's my
CD.
Yeah, it's on it's on a CD.
Yes, ma'am. It's on a CD, and they were playing excerpts, and people were just calling in. What?
Right. Well, it's my intention to go on to YouTube live streaming. So when I do that, I'll play that excerpts of that on the CD, on the radio, so more people can hear it.
And play it often. Don't just play it once. Play it often. You got to get that out in our people's minds. Let them know these folks are not here. They are not here to be with us. They're here to take from us. They tell us that. Because they're drunk with the self-perceived sense of power based on their numbers. They tell you, we have the numbers. The destiny is for the Latino Hispanic community to run this country. That from here to the White House. They just go on.
Oh, really? How did your friend get this CD?
It was given to me about 15 years ago, back in 2005, 6, and I got a bunch of copies, and I lost them. I couldn't find them. I've been wanting to scatter through the black community for years, and I just found them the other day, and I gave some to my friend, Pat Moore, and she'd been spreading it out there, and I got a few more. And I can get some more. I can get hundreds of them. I'm going to go back and get some more because they're forever.
Yeah, but
have more made up.
But where did you get them? From
Brooke. She's a lady who wrote, remember 187? You guys remember Proposition 187? Oh. These white folks, they were smart. They got a proposition on the ballot that said there'll be no welfare, no education, no this, no that for illegal aliens. Period. And California voted overwhelmingly, okay? But the court came in, the activist judges, I think it was the Ninth Circuit, and they shot it down. 187, Proposition 187, look it up.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry?
Yeah,
anyway, she along with another friend of mine, Ron Prince, they are the authors of that, and she had an organization called the California Coalition for Immigration Reform, CCIR, and we heard about each other, and she liked where I was coming from, and I began to speak at her gatherings in Orange County, and I was given this tape, and, I've been spreading it around as much as I could until I lost them.
Yeah. Okay.
Look up the California Coalition for Immigration Reform, CCIR. Barbara Cole, legendary woman.
Yeah,
great lady.
Yeah, this has been going on for decades, actually. Because I talked to you about Terry Anderson being one of the trailblazers out there and fighting this immigration in Los Angeles. One of the things I want to say is that black folks in other states, like on the East Coast, they have no clue.
Hey, no, they don't. No, they don't. They'll be suddenly hit with a tsunami. Because right now, with the way they operate, they come into a community looking all woe bemoaned and in desperate need of love and compassion and help, and they're cool with black people, very cool with black people. Hey, cappuccino, cappuccino. Hey, ¿qué pasó? Everything's good, man. Buenos dias. Once they get to a certain number, they will explode on you. Yeah. Then there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I saw a piece with Father Basio. I think it's spelled Bascio. Google his name, Father. He's a priest. He's passed on. But he said that he was walking when you cannot find a black man in Harlem, working in Harlem, there's a problem. Harlem is the legacy of Black Americans, and
Yep.
and young black men are no longer working there. Do you hear?
Nope.
Young black men are no longer working in Harlem, and
I believe it.
And what is and it was actually a Afro Latino, I think he's Dominican, who took Charles Rangel's seat. Charles Rangel was actually from, where is he from? I think
He's offshore, ain't he?
yeah,
I'm
he's
sorry.
Caribbean or something. But anyway,
Yeah, he's off.
but his seat was taken by a Dominican. Oh, and I can't remember the man's name, but I heard this on Facebook, where the man wanted to be a part of the Latin caucus and the Black caucus. Yeah, it's just, I mean, this is why we need to get together all Black folks who are the descendants of slaves throughout the United States, in every state. Because what we are experiencing here on the West Coast is what other blacks are going to be experiencing in other states. But presumably that's going to be changing now that we have Jeff Sessions and President Trump. Presumably there's going to be a dramatic shift. Am I right, Ted?
Yes. But we hope anyway.
Yeah, we hope. We don't know, but we still have to stay vigilant. We still have to stay aware, and we still have to participate and stay engaged. We have to stay engaged with the process and know what's going on at every step of the way, right?
Yes, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just tell you that, I just met Kathleen shortly, about a month or two ago, and I tell you, man, this lady, she's on it. She is on it, and her voice needs to be heard. Your voice needs to be heard through her. You need to support this broadcast, man. That's how we get it. Information got to get out there. And she's a watchman on the wall, and she called it again today. She's always watching on the wall. But we need more watchmen. She can't do it by herself. There's no way. We need to support what she's doing.
Yeah, I can't do it by myself. I can't be the only voice, because it's like I'm like Sisyphus, pushing the rock up the hill. It's me by myself and you, just two of us, pushing the rock.
But I'm speaking more about the fact. I'm thinking about you more than me, because there's other people out there doing stuff. But I'm talking about what you are doing. I don't know of any other Black female radio talk show host. I'm looking around in my head now, and the ones that they're conservative women, and they Republicans, and they don't talk this way. Oh, I know. Yvette Carnell is another sister.
Yeah, Yvette Carnell is very good.
Yeah, see, you guys are the trumpeters on the wall with your access to media, and that's why I'm saying to people that it's good that Kathleen is here, but we need more. We don't want her to be the only voice out there, because that's dangerous as well. We need to get the information out.
Right.
So I was just giving a shout out to you, Kathleen. That's all.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Worth.
Yeah, but I need to build this show. I need to build it. I need to get more listeners, because I think and I'm thinking once I do YouTube live streaming, I'll get more people listening.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you're right on something, and you need to continue doing what you're doing and having the free and open discussion that you have, whether agree or disagree. If the idiots want to come on and talk, let them talk. Let the idiots be idiots so we can see, oh, that's an idiot over there. Right. Get the information out of them. I remember Larry Elder tried to tell him, Larry, why don't you let your guest speak? Why do you cut them off? You only give them a couple seconds. They're idiots. Well, of course. But the people need to know how these people talk and think. You're not giving them a chance to expose themselves. Let them expose themselves. People don't know. Like this tape we're going to be putting out, this CD. They're out of their own mouths, they're telling us they're going to take us down.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that. I'm looking forward to playing that so people can listen. And, we started this show. The title of this show is, Opiate Users Get Rewarded When Crack Users Got Felonies. That is what prompted me to come on live today because it's very frustrating what I saw in Washington Journal this morning about the difference between how folks who are addicted to opiates and heroin are treated from how folks who were addicted, black folks who were addicted to crack cocaine were treated. That's what prompted me to come on live today. Every black person should be talking about it and outraged. But but Ted says everyone knows it. Everyone knows this. Well, now I've said it. So now we've sort of shifted gears into now the responsibility. We always go back to illegal immigration, don't we? Have you noticed that?
That is because that is the number one threat to this nation, and it's the number one threat to us chattel slave descendants, because it's through us and our rights that they are taking over. Let me tell y'all something. One of the things that these people say on this tape you're going to hear soon, they say, civil rights. Why, that's the white man's laws. In other words, about these black folks, man, we're going to take this stuff. But he makes a very good observation, folks. And when I talk to white people, my white brothers, this is what I tell them too. He makes a very good observation. He says that's the white man's laws. There, he is absolutely correct. It is the white man's laws. Not the Hispanic white man, but the Anglo-English-speaking white man's laws that he spilled his blood over us about. See, and that's what they hate about this Anglo-white man, that he gave such power to a bunch of dumbass people like black folks who don't know how to use their civil rights. I've heard them say to my face, they say, you blacks, you had your chance with civil rights with the white man. You blew it, you squandered it, it's our turn now. That's what they believe. It's prevalent amongst them. We blew our civil rights because y'all don't know what to do with it. We're going to show y'all how to work this sucker. And that's what's happening, my people.
Well, but that's not true.
I felt like the white people's in the house. I'll tell y'all something.
Yeah, but they're saying,
I'm sorry.
Them saying we're going to show you how to use it now is really not true, because they're Democrats, just like, we were Democrats, being used by the Democratic Party. Do you know what I mean? But
they are, let's face it, they are getting a lot more out of us than we have. In fact, all the major corporations, Kellogg, Ford, all of them have given big money to the La Raza organization. And the La Raza organization is more racist than the Ku Klux Klan. Yet they call themselves, listen now, La Raza, the largest civil rights organization in the country. Hello, NACP, FCLC, Urban League, where y'all at?
Yeah, but this is, they were equating the man that got dragged off the plane, United Airlines, he's like the next Rosa Parks. You see, other groups do not have civil rights. They have normal rights. Black folks fought for civil rights because of the history of Jim Crow and slavery. Other groups do not have.
No, if I may correct a little bit here. While we assisted, white folks gave us those. White people. And that's why I say to white people, if y'all mess around here and you let us black folks lose the vote to an illicit population that's broken into the country, y'all will be held accountable. And them white boys that died in the Civil War, their blood is on y'all's hands. That's what Lincoln said. See, y'all wrote these laws. Y'all wrote these laws because it was the right thing to do. Now you'd better fulfill it. That's all Dr. King said the night before that Democrat shot him dead. King said to white folks, all we're asking of y'all is to live up to the laws that y'all wrote. Simple as that. And it wasn't the Democrats that wrote these laws. The Democrats resisted the civil rights laws of the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment. They resisted it. You had a Democrat president who would veto the laws. They had to override him. Republicans, white, English, Anglo, Republicans wrote these laws. That's why we must lay in on the Republicans and their black lackeys with them to do what law says do. Regardless of how people feel, do the law.
So this is what I'm going to say. White Republicans, you need to form an alliance with black Republicans, with blacks, to enforce the Civil Rights Act, civil rights laws of America, or you're going to lose America. How does that sound?
Because they'll lose America because they lose us. And it's within 3 to 10 years, follow the census, the day that the illicit population vote, most of which they got through the 14th Amendment, the day that happens, y'all, technically, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Done.
In other words, Democrats will have the White House forever.
They'll have the White House and anything else they want. That has been the plan. But see, that's why they hate Donald Trump so much.
And one thing I want to
so
mention.
Much.
What?
Hmm?
What were you saying?
They hate Trump so much because he messed up their plan. Had Hillary Clinton won, you could kiss it goodbye, y'all. It'd have been over. It'd have been over.
Right. And one of the things I want to mention to you, Ted, is that yesterday I read a case, 2015, that came out of Texas, the federal court, where they denied a birth certificate to an anchor baby. Now, I think this case, it was in the district court. That's the lower court of the federal court, federal district court. That's the lowest court in the federal system. So presumably they will appeal that. That will go through the process and eventually get to the United States Supreme Court. So in other words, this whole anchor baby business needs to go to the Supreme Court, and it's a good thing that Gorsuch is now on the Supreme Court. I think that was a good strategy, a good move of the Republicans to put Gorsuch there. What do you think?
Well, no matter how good they are, if they don't put us up front and say we are against anchorism because it violates Section 1 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which gave birth to the 14th Amendment, this is for the chattel slaves, and we're going to deny you because if we allow you, we destroy them. We destroy them. We destroy the reason why our white boys died over them, thereby destroying the nation. Sorry. You have no citizenship. And the Supreme Court should not even hear the case. If they hear it, it should be, you are wrong. There is no debate here. The law is the law.
Yeah, but
there is no debate. Not have these people's 15th Amendment.
Yeah, but these anchor babies are saying they are U.S. citizens. This is how they're getting all these benefits.
Yes, and that's our stuff.
Well, but
that's
how?
All our
But how are you going to take it back from them? That's right. You can't just take the...
No, you lose the nation. You got to decide. You got to make a moral decision.
No, but I'm asking you the question, how do you take the birth certificates back from... All
the president and Congress does is says, we're sorry for what happened to you, but we're going to rescind your citizenships. You have no citizenship anymore in this country because if we allow it, blacks will die. Now, we cannot allow that.
No, they're not going to rescind their citizenship.
Then it's over. It's over. Forget about it. I don't even know why we're even talking about it. I'm serious. I don't even know why we're talking about it, because it's over. I do this because I believe it can be done. It has to be done. We have no choice, Kathleen. Y'all, we ain't got no choice. We cannot feel for other people at this point. We must tell this president, you're going to be Lincoln? Lincoln had to hurt people to save the nation. You know how much blood was spilled? You know how much money was spent on us?
Well, you know how much you know how much outrage will be had if they rescind the citizenship of anchor babies?
Let them outrage. The Constitution says this, I do solemnly swear the oath of office. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office in which I am about to enter, so help me God. Without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. When they say, you can't do this, it will hurt our babies. We were here so long. We've been betrayed. Oh, we're hurting. Sorry. You gotta go. You get no welfare anymore. You got 5 years to get your house in order. You're going to start cutting back on your welfare, your education, your health care. We're cutting back on you. You need to realize if you stay here, blacks will die. Do you want black people to die? Is that what you want? A genocide? Hey, United Nations, aren't you the ones that said that the United States owed black people reparations? Hey, World Court. Hey, Human Rights Watchers, are you going to stand by and watch a quiet genocide of a whole people that y'all say deserve reparations from this country? You see, we haven't had no one to argue like I'm arguing this issue. Never.
Never.
But
we never have any.
It.
And let me tell you, all those people with all those alphabets behind their name, PhDs, MA, masters, doctorates, they never talk about lawyers, JDs. They never talk about this stuff. Never.
And they call themselves civil rights attorneys. Or they know about civil rights law. No, they don't. If they do know, they ain't gonna bring it out because they're getting perks from keeping black folks stupid about our birthright.
They're civil rights attorneys, and they're for immigration. They want the civil rights for immigrants who were never.
According to the. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
According to the corporations of this country that gives all this money to La Raza, the largest civil rights organization in the country, what they're saying to us is civil rights means nothing to us anymore. We're done. We're done. Civil rights lawyers see civil rights as applied to illegal alien invaders.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's because we focused on racism the whole time, as opposed to... It's exactly because we focus on... In fact, I just read an article the other day where the Koch brothers are giving driver's license to illegal immigrants. You see?
But there you go.
Exactly.
Busting driver's license people. Nothing to drive. You can get around with a car. Nuh-uh. No, ma'am.
No, but the driver's license is a form of identification that the illegal immigrants can use to show the court or the agency that gives citizenship papers, birthright citizenship papers. They show their driver's license when they have a baby, then they're entitled to get a birthright citizenship for their child, U.S. citizenship.
And having driver's license is the pathway to the vote.
In California it is. I don't know about other states, but in California, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I saw it with my own eyes, so don't tell me. I was at the DMV, and you are automatically if you get a driver's license, you are automatically registered to vote unless you opt out. You have to opt out. That's the way they made it. See, and that's another thing, how they made it so convenient for folks to register to vote. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to opt out to not be registered to vote. I saw it with my own eyes. So don't tell me. People try to tell you what they don't know. And another thing, they keep talking about there's only 11 million illegal immigrants. That's another thing that's not true. That's another thing that's not true. Right?
You're right. And so look, folks, the only way we're going to defeat, and I got to go, Kathleen, the only way we're going to defeat this is get off this thing about racism. You got to remember who stirs it up all the time. The racists stir it up. The Democrats.
Hello. Get off this racism bit. Get off of it.
Yeah.
Get off of it.
And let me finish. And that's why the devil will whisper in your ear, see, there's the devil over there. Ignore that. That's what they want you to do, is a distraction from the truth of who you are, black people, who you are in the Constitution of these United States of America via the 14th Amendment. And the Civil Rights Act of 1866 gives you that birth. And the 15th Amendment, that tells you, y'all, who you are, not in Africa, not in Canada, not in Russia, in the United States. And until we use this, we got freedom 52 years ago, but we never learned how to use the power that comes with this freedom. And the Democrats have kept us in the blind, and the Republicans have allowed it. Black people, we must come to this realization of who we are in this nation, and we will get anything we so desire within reason.
Okay, Ted, I'm going to let you go. Today's show was, opium users get rewarded, but crack users got felonies. That's what today's show was about. That's what prompted me to go live. And we ended up talking about illegal immigration again, like we always do, and the 14th Amendment. Hey, get off the racism bit, folks. Black folks, get off the racism bit. Stop focusing on that and start focusing on the 14th Amendment. Thanks, Ted, for joining me.
Thank you, Kathleen. And once again, folks, I personally salute y'all's Kathleen Wells. She's doing a fantastic job. I appreciate her. I appreciate her allowing me the kind of time she's allowed me to express my viewpoints. I don't get that everywhere. That's why I support Kathleen, okay? Blessings to y'all. See you next time.
Thanks, Ted. Bye.
Bye-bye.